There's nothing in it, and you'll ask yourself, where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind? Way out in the water.
Welcome back to Art Matters for the second installment of our art history video blog. My name is Haley Booth, and I'm an art history major at Berea College.
My name is Haley George, and I'm a computer science major.
Haley is joining us today as a special guest to discuss the piece Dagmar by Anders Zorn. She did research and wrote about this piece for History of Printmaking in the West, which is a course offered here at the college. That being said, today we're going to be focusing on two prints from the 20th century. Our first piece is France and Her Furnaces by James McBey, which my research and writing focused on for the course. McBey is thought to be one of the greatest British etchers of the 20th century, comparable to James McNeill Whistler. In 1916, McBey began his wartime service as second lieutenant in the Army Printing and Stationery Services. Later, he was appointed the official war artist in the Middle East to the British Expeditionary Force. France and Her Furnaces was created in 1917, while McBey was stationed in Boulogne, France during World War I. It is an image created using dry point, which is an intaglio printing technique in which the artist uses a needle-like point to score the surface of a copper plate. This then causes the metal on either side of the line to push up, creating a shallow groove. Intaglio style creates the illusion of quick strokes created using a pencil. Now let me provide you with a little background information about McBey's inspiration for France and Her Furnaces. It is a print depicting a scene in the Snyder Munitions Works at Harfleur, France during World War I. The men in this image are using long iron rods to pull hot shells from the furnace. At this time, France was in the midst of war and was second only to the U.S. in industrial and military production. This print really spoke to the French and gave them a sense of pride and determination to continue the fight for their country. In that sense, although it is not meant as propaganda, it contributes to a sense of nationalism that was a key feature of wartime political art. Let's now take a look at Haley's piece.
The piece that I chose to write about is Dagmar by Anders Zorn. Zorn was a Swedish artist who mainly worked as a painter, but who also created prints and artworks in other media. Dagmar was created in 1912 as part of Zorn's famous nude series that included more than 500 images of nude women in different settings, primarily in nature. This print is an etching, which is created by coating a metal plate, usually copper, in a wax-like resin. The resin is then drawn into with a tool called a burin to create the image that the artist desires. Once the lines forming the image are cut into the resin, the plate is submerged into acid to set the lines into the exposed parts of the metal plate. The longer the artist leaves the plate in the acid, the deeper the acid penetrates and the darker the lines on the etching will become. The reason I was drawn to this print was because it is like an illusion. When you stand far away from the piece, you clearly see a woman sitting on a riverbank. But once you get closer, you are able to see the imperfections of the lines. This effect of wholeness works because we make connections and form mental impressions that the lines themselves don't actually make. In this way, we are drawn into the etching and interact with the work as viewers. This use of line and image was made possible because Zorn used etching as his method, which allowed him to create an image that was more similar to a drawing than an engraving or woodcut would have allowed.
We are interested in showing these two prints together because they were made around the same time, but they seem to draw on completely different methods and inspirations. They each have their place in the history of printmaking for different reasons. While one seems focused on the tradition of reclining nudes, which is almost timeless, the other is much more closely associated with political and cultural location of its production. It may be the case that, as a Swede in a neutral country, Zorn was less concerned with his political responsibilities to his nation than he was to his interest in conveying a traditional pastoral scene. Whereas for McBey, art had suddenly become an object of political expression and interest.
These two prints are an example of the many wonderful works created during the 20th century.
Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.
Where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where